Welcome to this week's episode of The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly. Your host Mark and Sam. We'll be telling you what we've been up to since last time, and we're discussing the trilogy Jurassic Park.
Get the comfy chair!
Hi Sam.
Alright.
What have you been up to since last time?
Well, I've been playing two games in particular, both sort of horror-ish games. The first one was Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth.
Yeah.
And the second is American McGee's Alice.
Is that the one... That was out about a year ago, the Alice one, wasn't it?
A sequel to it was out about a year ago.
Oh, wow, it's an old game.
It's a 2000 game.
Is it original Xbox?
I think so, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay.
No, sorry. It wasn't. It was a PC
360.
game.
Oh, PC, right, okay. Okay, tell us about those then.
Well, Call of Cthulhu, in true Lovecraftian fashion, it starts with someone hanging themselves.
Yeah, that sounds like Lovecraft, yes.
And then, I'm not sure if it's just, some guy from later in the story, or if it's supposed to be like a flash. It flashes back to this point, but you're a detective. This is where you actually start to play. You're a detective, and shots have been heard at this old house that was bought by a cult. And they're asking for you by name. So you come up there and a gunfight starts between the cultists and the police. And basically, whenever they're about to tell you something, it's like, oh, you're the one that they get shot through a window by the police.
So it sets you up with a very dense mystery, yeah?
Yeah, and then you start to follow some old, miners' caverns. And then it becomes all Geiger-esque. It's all...
Or even Lovecraftian.
No, it looks like something out of Geiger rather than
right. I think Geiger's is inspired
it's something
by
Lovecraft would write, but Geiger would draw it.
Yeah, okay. So it's like a mystery, or is it like scary? Huh?
It's creepy. It's not. There's no jump scares, but it's just unnerving. I've got to a bit where there's these crazy people. It's just it's from a town called Innsmouth, which is supposed to be just outside Arkham.
Innsmouth, the big, is famous in the Lovecraft literature.
I've pretty much just accidentally got a little girl murdered.
Oh, nice.
No, it's like, Mummy's upstairs. She's been locked up for a while now because Daddy says it's dangerous. You go upstairs to check. It's like all creepy. You think, oh god, this guy's been doing something horrible to this poor woman. Right. You slide open the thing, and this giant toothed mouth just lunges out the slot. Yeah, and then it kicks open the door, charges down the stairs, and then you hear the screaming of the little girl. You come down, and she's basically been pulled apart.
Right.
But yeah. At the moment,
how much is there anything really odd yet, like weird creatures or anything yet?
No. Every so often, once I finish something significant, it's like sneak into this shop, and the minute I get out, it cuts to this alternate perspective, and there's this. It's kind of like the Predator growling sound, the sort of sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's on rooftops, and it's. Whatever it is really quick. So I think it might be the thing that was in the room, but the room was locked. So yeah.
It makes me wonder what's going to come, because knowing Lovecraft, there's what you sometimes get. You either encounter the horrors directly, or you often encounter people that have been quite adversely affected by whatever horrors are out there, and then you get into the horrors. As part of a story climax, often, not always.
So far, there's only 4 people that look sort of normal-ish. The first are drunk, which is always a helpful in a horror game. The second's just this woman.
Yeah.
The third's a generic guy that you see about that you these weird people keep telling to hush down.
Yeah.
and the third's the guy the reason you go to Innsmouth is you're looking for someone who supposedly robbed the shop that he runs.
Okay.
And that's the story that the locals are going with.
Yeah.
And they insist that that's what's going on. But everything's like kicked in.
I'm wondering. I'm just looking at the précis for one of Lovecraft's novellas here called Shadow over Innsmouth, and that actually is all about some guy talking to a town drunk, trying to find out something. And like the story develops from there. If you want to read about it, you can.
Okay,
but I'm not gonna. It might have nothing to do with this, but it sounds like a similar thing. But Call of Cthulhu. It's funny how much Lovecraft's set by the sea or involves the sea. Actually, the Call of Cthulhu's about the sea, isn't it? We get all bits of it. And this Innsmouth is set on a sea town, you know.
Yeah.
And there's things in the water and with the people. Yeah. Sounds pretty cool. So it's creepy.
Yeah, but aside from the thing that lunged at me through the door, no monsters. Just people. Just people being creepy.
Just being weird.
And at the moment, I've got to escape from this weird hotel manager and two stooges through... I have to like run through hotel rooms and slide bookcases in front of doors and lock latches and jump between buildings just to escape them.
Yeah, Shadow over Innsmouth involves a weird cult in a town. I wonder if does that sound?
Is it
right?
the something of Dagon?
Dagon's it might be into it, but Dagon is a separate story again. I can't really remember it. It's been a while now.
So far,
but there is a town of Dagon.
Okay.
I think there is. I could be wrong. I might be getting confused because there is a film about a town called Dagon, which I saw years ago. I can't really remember. Good. So what are you doing? You're solving mysteries.
Yeah, you're looking for this. You get hired by the head of this big. It's like a branch supermarket, and the guy, one of the branches of it was in Innsmouth.
Yeah,
and the guy who you're looking for supposedly broke in, even though he had the keys, and then made a break for it.
Right.
But people keep talking. As you walk past people, they're muttering like, "He got what's coming to him," sort of thing.
Yeah.
So this cult of Dagon sort of thing is, yeah.
Actually, is the game called? I know it's called Cthulhu. Is it also called Dark Corners of the Earth? Yeah. It says here. The town of Innsmouth is the backdrop for the 2005 first-person action-adventure game called Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth, the opening plot of which follows the second, third and fourth chapters of the novella, with a great degree of accuracy, but with a different protagonist. Okay. Apparently it's supposed to be followed by a sequel called Call of Cthulhu, Destiny's End, which was cancelled.
Okay.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the other game?
American McGee's Alice.
American McGee's Alice.
Yeah. The premise for this one is that as Alice sort of woke up from the original book when she's 7, the house that she was in was on fire.
Right.
It killed her parents, and I think she has a sister. Well, she had a sister, but yeah, it just drives her mad, even more so, rather. But
all right, okay.
She gets put in an asylum.
Funny enough, one of the films I watch sounds a bit like. Sorry, I've just got going back to the first one. I've just realised one of the films I've watched. Oh, actually, I'll talk about it when I get to the film. Sorry, go on.
Okay.
Sorry, mate, go on.
But the premise is that this asylum is called Rutledge.
Yeah.
It only makes her worse, as every 19th century asylum would.
Yeah.
But she slips back into Wonderland after 10 years or so.
Oh, okay.
But Wonderland has been affected by her new insanity and the asylum, so now everything's horrible and twisted, even more so than it would normally be.
Right.
I've just gone into this school where I know in the book there's supposed to be these things called torch gnomes.
Right.
But yeah, the school's essentially a place where they indoctrinate the children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. The Cheshire Cat is like an aide for you. He sort of follows you around and gives you advice. But he's got no fur, and his general pose is like the like an Egyptian idol, where they're sort of direct bolt upright and
he's bald.
Yeah, he's completely bald, and I think he's got an ear piercing as well.
How weird. Yeah, right. It sounds a bit like they're infusing a bit of like the Narnia.
What?
Well, a land affected by something or other. Do you know what I mean? The whole land affected by something.
Okay.
On revisiting. No? Alright, maybe not.
No, I'm not.
Maybe that's a bit of a
following
stretch.
You.
Well, alright, okay. Well, in the books, they go back to Narnia and it's all changed quite significantly through some...
Yeah, but that's just the passage of time.
Yeah, I guess. Alright, yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be just the passage of time.
Right. Okay, which one are you enjoying the best?
Well, I'm enjoying Alice so far most.
Is Cthulhu creeping you out?
No, Cthulhu, I'd get to the thing and it's like, I'd jump between these ledges and then there's literally nowhere I can go. It's like there's a door that's been boarded up, windows that have been boarded up, and a 60-foot drop.
Oh, man. If there was only something you could just type in where you're at and get some sort of idea what to do next day.
Yeah, I refuse. I refuse.
Well, I'll do it.
If I'm playing a game that's sort of before there would have been proper walkthroughs on the internet, I don't look at walkthroughs.
There would have been walkthroughs.
Yeah, but not as extensive as half the ones today.
Fair enough.
It's like, well, if you go to this...
What's the graphics like? I mean, is it old school?
Yeah, it's pretty old. It's really
good enough to
weird.
Be creepy, yeah?
Yeah. And everyone talks like... So, the voice acting makes it really obvious who's supposed to be, like, part of the cult. Or because it's like, normal people that talk to you, it's like, oh, you need to get out of here, stranger. And one of these cultists comes up to you, it's like, who are you?
Yeah, that sounds so good. Oh, okay. Right, shall I say what I've been up to?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been watching some films. One of which, in fact, I'll talk about this one first because it does kind of tie into your Innsmouth thing. It was a film called Horror Hotel, made in 1960, starring Christopher Lee, and it was a British film. It wasn't Hammer. In fact, I can't remember the production company, but the main producer of it was the guy that went on to found Amicus. Amicus was like a horror production house that were like the main rivals Hammer. They're most famous for producing some quite good, like, you know, these horror compendium kind of films where 4 or 5 stories in one film.
Yeah.
And then our overarching tie-up story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Amicus went on to make those sort of films, but this was pre that. Black and white film, and bizarrely, lots of plot elements in it are a bit like Psycho. In that there's a blonde woman travelling, ended up at a place, staying over, and then shocking things happening to her. And then other people becoming the protagonists from that point. So pretty much like Psycho, and it came out 3 months after Psycho, and I'm pretty sure it was in production when Psycho came out. So I don't think it was a copy. It was just one of those things, you know. Anyway, this town, she's investigating witchcraft, or she's a history student. She's investigating old-time witchcraft. But this town is basically a town of witches. It's a cult, and it's very creepy. It's fog-bound. People are walking around and don't really talk, and it's got a kind of Lovecraft feel to it as well. Really good film, really cheap. As I say, Chris Lee's in it, and he's doing an American accent. It's not, he's okay, but it's just unusual that he's doing an American accent. Basically, they're making these British films and trying to sell them to America, so they either pretend to be American, or they get an American B-movie star to be the lead. You know what I mean? This was really good. It's also called City of the Dead, and it's a short film, 70 minutes or so, but it's really, really atmospheric. I've seen it before, but I just fancied watching it again, and it was really good. I've given it, as I say, 74 out of 100, I think. It was very Lovecraftian. I found it to be so. In fact, one way you can dispatch these cult members is shadow of a cross will make them burst into flames. It's not. They weren't vampires, but it was that kind of, lore.
Yeah.
And then I also watched a vampire film, which was Nosferatu. Now, this isn't the original one. This is a remake by Werner Herzog, made in the late 70s. Do you know Klaus Kinski?
No.
Creepy looking dude. If you Google him, you'll see what I mean. He's kind of a famous actor, and he's also famously mad. In the way Mel Gibson's kind of mad. Yeah?
Yeah.
And he's a really ugly and horrible looking dude, but he's got one of the most beautiful women as one of his daughter you can imagine. That's Nastasia Kinski. I don't know how that happens. But he plays... Well, in this version, in the original Nosferatu, he's called Count Orlok. But in this, they've just reverted to the main Dracula. He's Dracula, in effect. They call him Dracula, and there's Jonathan Harker and so on. Oh, man, this was a terrific... Again, I've seen it before, but it was so good. It was slow. It was weird. It was really tense. And again, it had a kind of Lovecraftian feel to it in that it was otherworldly. You felt like he was the cusp of something that was beyond our reason as an individual, and he talked about things like how it's the worst thing ever must be to not be able to die and stuff like that. He's a mournful character, but not in a Twilight emo way, in a deeply, it's almost like he's carved out the rock. He's like so old and implacable kind of thing.
Okay.
And the woman in it, who's I think Mina, is played by a really beautiful actress called Isabel Adjani, but they've made her up, and the way she acts is almost like a silent scream queen kind of look and gestures, and it really, really works. It's amazing how well it works, considering it was made in the late 70s. It was like 50 years after the last silent films or whatever. Man, it was really, really engaging, but some of the casting was very odd. In fact, there was like weird character, like Van Helsing wasn't dynamic at all. He was this like tired old bloke who was just a bit listless and didn't really want to do much. And some of the conversations he had and some of the other characters, it almost felt like a Monty Python pastiche of Dracula film. But it kind of worked. And the thing is, wherever they went, this guy, Nosferatu, he had hordes of rats following him. So he basically brought the plague to where he came to, because there was like all these rats everywhere. I really enjoyed it. 90 out of 100 I give it. I really liked it, but I can see some people really hating it because it's very slow. It's all about the composition and the shot, not about the story so much, Yeah. But his makeup, have you got Google there? Google Nosferatu Klaus Kinski, look at his makeup. He's got horrible ratty teeth, these massive claws as nails. He's definitely not human. You can kind of see it in there. They kind of people talking to him treat him like he's human, but you can see in their face they're really disgusted or frightened by him.
Yeah. Picture.
It's some. Creepy. I mean, the original makeup was just as creepy, but this is like, oh man, really something. All right, so I watched that. Another film I watched is an old 50s film that's kind of infamous, or was at the time, called Les Diaboliques, which is a French film about a couple of women, one who's married to a guy and the other one who's like an ex-mistress or lover of the guy, and he's still kind of mistreating them, and they run a school for boys, and the two women get together and hatch a plot to get rid of him. But when they get rid of him, his corpse disappears and weird stuff starts happening. It's alright. It's a bit too French, if you know what I mean. It's just too much talking and all this. And while it's highly regarded, it kind of it's aged a bit. in my opinion. But it's got a really terrific last 15-20 minutes where all of this, why has the corpse disappeared? What's going on? And all this, that, and the other. It's a really good ending, but I find it a little plodding leading to it. That was all right. Have you heard of that one?
No.
Nah. It was infamous for a little while, or famous for a little while, because it was like the first basically foreign film that actually did well in American cinema. You know, it wasn't just art house, it actually did well financially. And kind of, it was like the lead into other international, non-American films actually doing well. For example, Seven Samurai came a couple of years after it, or maybe 2 years after it, and then Ingmar Bergman films started getting big. So it was like the first time Americans actually could be bothered to go to see a subtitled film at the cinema. I watched another one which was nutty, called Flavia the Heretic, about a nun. Oh man, this was just an exploitation film. It was a really, really weird exploitation film. In fact, I sat down to watch it with some fish and chips, thinking it was going to be kind of tame, and as soon as I started eating, there was blood everywhere. So I had to stop watching it. That'll teach me. I actually sat down to eat just at the moment they decided to show graphically the castration of a horse. Yeah, that was great. It really put me off my pie. It was alright though. As a film, it was kind of entertaining, but it got weirder and weirder and more gruesome. There was basically there was like rapes and torture, and there was one point they got a guy and they had a big metal spike and you could see him lifting him up to impale him on it, and it's like, oh man. It's from the 70s. I mean, the thing is, the special effects weren't the effects weren't great, so you could see it was all fake, but it was kind of, wow, this is super grim. And then to finish off my week of this kind of films, I watched a film called Zombie Flesh Eaters, which you saw a little of, didn't you? I showed you.
Yeah, I saw moments of it.
There was some. It was alright. It's again quite highly rated, I think, but it wasn't great. It was alright, but there were some bits that were really good. There was a bit where I don't know how they did it, but basically a zombie fighting a shark. And it was a real shark. It was not practical effects. It was a real. They got some bloke to dress up as a zombie and go and fight a shark in the sea. And I'm not talking about a swimming pool. It was in the sea. You could see it was there in a reef, and there was a bloke punching a shark, and pretending to bite it and stuff. Which is, in fact, I don't know how they did that. That was really something. There's another really gruesome practical effects shot where a woman's grabbed by the hair and being pulled towards this door, but the door's been splintered open, and then there's a big splinter of wood sticking out, and you see her getting pulled into it, which you could see was fake, but it was still pretty impressive. And there was another great bit where people were like in a graveyard, and then all the zombies start coming out of the graves, but they're really ancient zombies. They've got worms and all sorts. That was quite kind of cool. 63 out of 100 maybe. Not the best zombie film, but by no means the worst. I'm a fan of the Romero zombie films myself. Have you seen many zombie films?
A couple, but
it is a genre that suffers quite, has got a very high miss rate as a genre, you know what I mean? I'd say 80 to 90% of the zombie films are pretty bad, but the good ones are really good, Okay, so that's what I've been up to. Any of those appeal to you?
not really.
Not even Nosferatu?
Kinda, but I prefer to see the original rather than a remake.
I'd like to see both again. I do like the original, though. I have seen the original. It's been a long time. But this one, I don't know, actually. I think I prefer this a little better. The Horror Hotel one, I think you'd like, though. The one about a cult in a weird town in New England. New England's Lovecraft territory again. So it's kind of that kind of arena. I think they may have been ripping off a Lovecraft story, actually. I'm not sure. I can't remember one exactly like that, but it kind of rings a bell. Okay, then. So that's it for this week. Anything else?
I can't think of anything.
Alright, let's get into the films. Right, we'll have a bit of a break, and then we'll get into Jurassic Park number 1.
Alright, so now it's time for the clean promo. And I'm noticing that a lot of the promos we've received are way better than ours.
Yeah, but they're also for shows that are way better than ours. But hey, I'm El Goro.
And I'm the Cancer Man.
And we are the hosts of Talk Without Rhythm.
The only podcast that will not attract the worm.
That really doesn't explain what we do, sir.
We watch 2 movies a week, we review them, we chat about things, and occasionally we say something funny.
Yeah, but most of the time we just seem to make people angry.
Oh, that's because the American film viewing public can't handle most of what we have to say.
But if you think you can find us on iTunes. If you do a search for Talk Without Rhythm, you can also find us on our website, TWORpodcast.blogspot.com, baby.
Deuces.
So clean.
There can be only one.
Okay, Jurassic Park, made in 1993, directed by Steven Spielberg. A real big hit at the time. In fact, for I think 3 or 4 years, it was the highest grossing film of all time. It actually beat E.T. But then it was superseded by Titanic. Yeah. What do you think of this one?
Of course, I liked it.
Yeah, everyone likes it. It's I mean, what's the good elements about it? I mean, it was the first time really quite good CGI was used in cinema, I think. And the way they mixed it out really well. Spielberg did a really good job, or his technicians did a really good job mixing up the practical models, the animatronics with...
Well, the CG models were sort of motion captured off of little animatronics. So
oh, okay. So they it looked
they
quite
built
seamless.
these little animatronics and then they use them to motion capture.
Yeah. It was based on the Michael Crichton novel, which was a bestseller as well. Though I think the book was a little more. There was a lot more science in the book. You know, lots of talking about science, and I think it was more. Yeah, I was going to say more violent. I think this film was also cast pretty well. Richard Attenborough was good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I mean,
the kids were surprisingly good.
Yeah, the kids were pretty good. They weren't. In fact, you could say that about all 3. Actually, they cast the kid actors really well in these films. I've got no complaints about any of them at all. And I just think it was a really good script. This first one. It was also cool to have Samuel L. Jackson and. What's his name? The guy that was played was in Third Rock from the Summer.
Wayne Knight.
Yeah, he was pretty good too. They just cast this film really well.
And no one remembers them. No one remembers Samuel L. Jackson's in this film.
Yeah, I know. I remember watching it one time thinking, that's Samuel L. Jackson. And I've already seen the film several times and I just hadn't clicked. I think it's because Samuel L. Jackson was not that famous when this was made. That was very distinctive. He only really became super famous with Pulp Fiction, which came out in '94. And a lot of people saw Jurassic Park, then saw Pulp Fiction, but didn't rewatch Jurassic Park. So it was kind of a bit of a shock. So something to do with it. I don't know. Is it worth talking through the plot? Shall we just?
No, everyone knows the plot of the first one.
I mean, the idea of bringing in Velociraptor. I mean, Michael Crichton really struck gold by introducing us to Velociraptors. Velociraptors weren't that big in the dinosaur pantheon of kiddom at that time.
It's
it
just
was
they happen
T-Rexes.
to have the best name.
Yeah, they do have a great name, and they are very cool. But kids back
those
then.
Ones were based on, I think it was Deinonychus, which just rolls off the tongue. So
raptors and Velociraptors make it cool. Not only it was a good mix of practical and animatronics. It was just Spielberg did an outstanding direction job with this one. I mean, he's a great director anyway, and some of his films he's just awesome. But this is one of those, I think. The music also is pretty fantastic too. What I like about the film every time I watch it is it really does convey a sense of wonder when Grant first sees and Ellie first see the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You kind of feel it with them. That like, wow, that is so amazing. And they bring a bit of that to number 3, but we'll get onto that when we get to number 3. Alright, was there anything weak about the film?
There was some stuff that just didn't make sense in this. Not like scientific inaccuracies, like the DNA doesn't last that long. That I don't mind.
Yeah.
It's like, how did the Velociraptors put the arm just where Sattler would fall and it would land on her shoulder?
Well, we just have to assume the arm went flying and got stuck somewhere. Yeah, but
And how did the head hunter, who's going on and on about the Velociraptors, not know their attack strategy?
Yeah, that was a bit weak. I agree. However, compared to number 2 and its logic flaws, that's like, a finely tuned piece of clockwork plotting, isn't it?
Yeah.
In number 1.
They could have had a great scene where he like aims at the first one, turns to the second, is like, haha, and then one comes in from the back.
Yeah.
That could have been the great clever girl bit.
The clever girl bit is one of my favourite bits of the film, actually.
Yeah.
Bob Peck was really good in it. He felt like a real character in terms of a man who really knows what he's doing, but has seen it all. But he's not like a big head. He's not, he's not full of himself. He's not an egomaniac or anything like that. He seems really capable, but he knows his limitations, and he knows once them Velociraptors get out, no one's going to have an happy ending, kind of thing. I like some of the precision as well. For example, where they're putting a Velociraptor in the pen or something, and
somehow it's strong enough to push the giant's metal cage
and
backwards.
pull a bloke in. Yeah. All right, that's another logic flaw, but yeah, pretty. I like the whole running dinosaurs thing as well. When Grant and the kids get caught in a kind of, not a stampede, but kind of a set of running dinosaurs, a herding. Yeah,
it's Ornithomimus or Gallimimus. It's one of the two.
Yeah. And I like the whole premise. I think it was clever. The whole premise of the Wayne Knight deliberately turning off things so he could go and sell dinosaur eggs, and coming a cropper with that. That was kind of cool. But favourite moment for me was definitely, I think, Clever Girl and the whole T-Rex with the cars sequence.
Yeah.
That was just so spectacularly good. And also the later sequence where the Jeep's being chased by the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Man, that, you could not see the joints. It looked realistic. It really did.
I have one problem with the first T-Rex scene.
What's that?
T-Rex comes out of its cage, it messes about for a bit. It then pushes the car into the cage, down like a 50-foot drop. How did the T-Rex get out?
Don't know. It's another of those mysteries. Don't know. Film logic, whatever. There's also, I'm trying to think. Wow, there's so many good bits in this film, isn't there? There really are.
T-Rex just completely taking the ending.
Yeah, really. Velociraptors are
We
one
could have had
thing,
some
but-
sort of showing up. Nope, T-Rex, take him.
Yeah. And he's smashing up his skeleton of himself to show you, I'm back. I'm back.
Like, here's a poster.
Yeah.
Raw.
I just think Spielberg hit all the right cues with this. Spielberg's a master, or not a master, but he'll often keep extending tension by making things worse and worse and worse. And that can get a little tiresome, which we'll come to when we talk to number 2. But in this, he just about does it right. You never feel like, he's just gone too far this time. It just, the Velociraptors are creeping around the kitchen, and it's all really tense and really exciting. I really enjoy this film. Would you rate it as the best of the 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, so would I.
Clearly.
So would I. It clearly is. Have you read? You haven't read the books, have you? The book.
No, I know there's more to the books.
Yeah.
Like, I know Hammond dies, and I know there's.
Oh, I've forgotten that. Right.
I know that the doctor that's like that shows them the eggs.
Yeah.
I know he's in it more.
Oh, is he? I've
Yeah.
forgotten it. I have read it. I think I read it before I went to see the film.
And I also know that the pterodactyl cage in the third one is in Jurassic Park.
Oh,
First
okay. I'd forgotten. I think I read the book before I went to see the film, and now the film just colours my perception and memories of it. That's what it is. I did like Jeff Goldblum as well. I thought it was really good, though. It does come across quite... Some of the dialogue comes across a bit dated now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We're going on about chaos and things. The thing is, chaos was like a new thing back then, so you get the same things. They also mention virtual reality, which is a bit cringy too. You just get that at certain times in films. If you watch Star Trek Next Generation, they use some jargon that was very early 90s as a way of explaining things, which makes you cringe now. They go on about neural networks, for example. That was an early 90s thing. Now, not that they're not around now, it's just we don't talk about them like they're some special, wonderful thing.
Now it's not, wow, this thing has CD. It's like, oh, there's a CD.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah, I've forgotten that bit, yeah. But overall, it's a really, really great film. What was your favourite bit?
Both the T-Rex scenes.
Yeah.
Well, all three of the T-Rex scenes.
Yeah. I agree. That, and as I say, clever girl.
The kitchen chase.
The kitchen chase was good too, yeah.
I do like how it almost does it from the raptor's perspective. You never know how the kids are going out of it. Like, you see the what the raptors see, the girl getting in the oven and trying to get her, pull their door down.
Yeah.
And she's panicking. You don't know that it's not her until the raptor hits the door.
Yeah. This is a great film. There's no doubt about it. Shall we wind this one up and go on to the next? I mean, there was one other thing to say. It was actually re-released this year in 3D, which I did go and see.
I kind of wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just never got around to it. I mean, there's very few films that I'd go and rewatch in 3D. I'd rather just go and rewatch it flat, to be honest, but I wouldn't mind seeing it in 3D. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Next one come 4 years later. Now, hasn't got Grant in it and hasn't got Ellie in it, but it's got Ian Malcolm in it and Jeff Goldblum, and he's the main lead in it, really. Right, in this one, we find out there's a second island where they actually did the real work of creation and all. And you get the idea of some of the rejects might be on it too, don't you? But
they're not. They're
not really. They're perfectly fine dinosaurs. It's not based, or mostly it's not based on Crichton's own version sequel, which is called Lost World. But there's a few common stuff, like a second island, for example.
Yeah.
So we have Jeff Goldblum kind of taking the lead. Julianne Moore also comes into it. And Ian Malcolm definitely doesn't want to be involved with dinosaurs at that level again, but he finds out his girlfriend, who's Julianne Moore, has gone to this second island, Isla Sorna, so he decides he's got to go there too. What do you think of this one?
If the T-Rex wasn't in the scene, I really hated it.
Okay, let's see if we can pick any good out. Why do you hate it? I can tell you why I hated it. I didn't hate it, actually. I just didn't like it much.
Because it was just boring, pretty much.
They overdid. It just wouldn't get on with it, would it? It just wouldn't get on with it. It was loads of. It felt like an interminable scene at the beginning between Jeff Goldblum and Richard Attenborough going on about, the ins and outs of having this other island and why he's done it and why he needs Ian to go and look at it and all this, that, and the other. And it's like, yeah. There are elements I do like to it, but it just didn't work. It took loads of money.
I'm sure it did. Phantom Menace took loads of money.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. And in terms of the dinosaur effects, they were just as good as ever. But in this,
the behaviour of the dinosaurs was the problem.
It just, it took a while to get on with things. Vince Vaughn was in it. He wasn't bad. He was okay. As like a first Earth. What?
He wasn't very memorable.
He wasn't very memorable. In fact, I remembered him being in the third one, not the second one. So I was quite surprised when I saw it. And there's a really it should be fantastic of two T-Rexes attacking this mobile home base thing that they've got, where it's a really sustained tense. You know, they're hanging off a cliff and there's dinosaurs attacking, and it's kind of tense, but
they keep cracking one-liners.
Well, there is that. In fact, I'll tell you where for me it's really good, right? And I find the bit where Julianne Moore falls down to the bottom of the car and lands on the glass, and the glass starts getting cracks in it.
Yeah.
And you know that I thought,
and then it breaks because of
so
a bag.
exciting. Breaks fine, but then it keeps going and going and going, like things going wrong.
They're
things
still
going wrong.
hanging off that thing like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, and the dinosaurs are attacking this bloke who's trying to reverse a car,
and they're being really snarky to the bloke.
Yeah, and it's like,
do you need anything else down there? Well, a cheeseburger would do well.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man, you've missed the boat here. This has just gone on too long. It's like, you get, if you watch too much of our action films, you get like a fatigue about it, and it's like boring by the end of it. It doesn't matter how spectacular it looks, it's boring because there's no let up. And that bit of Jurassic Park, which should have been really fantastic, it feels like that. There's also there's actually one scene I like where the hunters, or led by the evil nephew, turn up on the island first, and it's kind of a cross between Mad Max 2 and Jurassic Park, in that they've all got these weird land vehicles and they're chasing dinosaurs and trapping them. I kind of like that bit. I thought that was alright, and I kind of really like the main hunter, played by Pete Postlethwaite. I liked his character. I thought that was a really interesting character.
Right up until the end of his sort of story, because then he basically said, "Oh, I'm done hunting. I lived in the shadow of death too long."
And it's like, you're a hunter!
You literally spent your entire time here shooting stuff.
Yeah. That's weird.
You've either been shooting stuff or annoying Vince Vaughn. So,
in this, it's it's a bit King Kong in it, and that they get a T-Rex and they somehow get all the kit needed to transport a T-Rex, and they get it on a boat, and then they're waiting for this boat to turn up in San Diego, and the boat just crashes, and what happens is all the crew appear to be dead. Now, this is a stupid piece of logic.
Somehow the T-Rex managed to get out, kill all the crew, even the ones in the steel compartments.
Pull their arms off.
Leave hands on the steering wheels, and then lock itself in the boat again.
Yeah. Actually, there's we've gone on a bit. I also want to mention, I did kind of like the Velociraptor attacking the long grass.
What, where they were killed by gymnastics?
Yes, I like that bit. Where all the hunters are like running away and the Velociraptors are just coming at them from every angle in long grass, so they can't even see them until the Velociraptors leap at them. I like that. You didn't like that bit?
No, the bit in the grass was fine. Pretty much, it was only a few seconds though.
Yeah, fair enough. And there's also a bit. It was like there was also some dialogue that was just like, what are you talking? Like Julianne Moore was saying, we don't interfere, we observe. And then she goes up and strokes a Stegosaurus on the nose. A baby, Stegosaurus, on the nose, and its parents get agitated because it's a baby. Oh man, yeah.
So the bugged me in the dialogue was they kept going on about this guy that died. It was like, not AJ. Not Ajay, not this person. We'd seen him all of once, and after that, he just sort of disappeared.
I think they just did some bad script editing there.
It was honestly like the joke from Simpsons, where they keep going on about Lenny. It's like, not Lenny, but it wasn't funny.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I wasn't that bothered by it, but I know exactly what you mean. There's also Jeff Goldblum's got a daughter, hasn't she? Now, it's a bit odd. She's black and he's white, but they never explain it. But that's fine. I'm kind of happy when films don't explain things like that. But she was a really good actress. I thought she was really good. Though there was one really weird bit where Julianne Moore and her are in a tent, and the T-Rex's head comes in, and they're kind of
stuck there.
Oh man. Yeah, and they kind of scream, and they somehow don't get eaten. whatever. Anyway, the T-Rex lands in San Diego and then starts running around. And what made me laugh is it was walking around the suburbs and there was no one about. No one. And the T-Rex started drinking from a swimming pool, didn't it? And a kid saw it. There's all this shenanigans. But then it starts running through like downtown San Diego or somewhere, and that was kind of cool with the chasing the civilians. And there was one bit that made me laugh where there was like 4 Japanese blokes.
Apparently they're shouting in Japanese, "We came here to get away from this," or that sort of thing.
That's kind of funny. And that was pretty cool. And then they realise, what is it? They realise, they've got a baby T-Rex or something like that. So if they take the baby T-Rex back to the boat, the T-Rex will come back to it. And there's all this kind of stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
Bit tiresome, this one, wasn't it? It should have been better. In fact, I kept telling myself before we saw it, I bet it is a lot better than we remember it. But no, it was kind of boring. I don't think, did we rate the first one? I don't think we... No. Should we rate them at the end?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Alright, okay. Shall we go on to number 3? Number 3 was made 4 years later again, 2001. Not directed by Spielberg this time, but directed by Joe Johnston. And this time we got Grant back. We also get Ellie back briefly, but she's like a housewife now, so she's not coming with him. It starts off pretty well with... like a kid and a man and paragliding on a boat, and it's outside Isla Sorna, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then
for some reason, everyone on the boat gets killed.
Disappear. We never do find out why. But it's in fog, so you can't see it. All you see is at the other end of it, the boat's empty and been like ripped up, and it keeps going, and then the boat crashes on rocks, and these two have to sort of land on the island. And that's how it starts. Decent start.
Yeah.
Decent start. And in fact, Lost World started quite decently with a little girl on the beach.
Yeah.
And meeting Compsognathus, was it?
Compsognathus.
Yeah. Little ones. Little birdie kind of ones that are...
They were big
scavengers. Yeah. And then we get Grant talking about how important it is that science has got to be about digging stuff up, not seeing carnival freak show creations as the study point.
I think they should have made more of a point that these things they're not dinosaurs, they're half frogs, pretty much.
Yeah. In fact, the little bit I remember from the book Lost World, one of the themes is the dinosaurs have got poor behaviours because certainly the velociraptors got weird behaviours because they're intelligent beasts, but they've got no frame of reference. So the adults never learn how to do things from their parents, and so when they give birth, they don't know how to teach their young how to behave as a group. So they've got really weird ecological behaviours, which is kind of interesting, but a bit academic, really. I don't know why I went on about that, actually. But basically, Grant is paid a fortune or offered a fortune to be like a tour guide for a flight over the island. That's what he believes, anyway. It doesn't turn out that way, though, does it?
No.
Plane lands, though he
gets knocked out by one of these mercenaries that gets brought along. And then they land the plane while he's unconscious.
Yeah.
And this stupid woman is on the island full of dinosaurs shouting into a megaphone.
Well, but she's looking for a son in it, so we understand. One of the things I liked about this film is I don't think... I might be wrong about bits of it later on, but I don't think anyone does anything intrinsically stupid that doesn't fit their character. Like, I can understand a mother calling for her child.
Yeah.
The only really stupid thing I think of is one guy gets some velociraptor eggs.
Yeah.
That's pretty stupid.
Well, his goal is to flog them on the black market so that they can fund their dig. So it's not... It's stupid, but he's got good goals. And they make a point of pointing this out in the film.
Now, to my mind, it's stupid for 2 reasons. One that he wouldn't be aware of is that velociraptors can trace those eggs and hunt them. He wouldn't know that. Fair enough. But the second way is he's got to be aware of the ecological consequences of someone else getting hold of those fetuses or whatever, those eggs. But anyway, Now, so then the film really gets into it. In my opinion, this film does everything right that the second one did wrong.
Yeah.
I.e., it does not mess about, taking forever to get to stuff. It punches straight in there pretty much, doesn't it?
It takes about 15 minutes.
But that's it. It's full on after that. It's there. I mean, you've got to do some leading.
It's like, here's why they're going here. Here's Dr. Grant. Here's the people that he's going with. Here's some mercenaries, and they're off.
Yeah. Whereas the reason for Ian Malcolm going to the island in number 2 is fatuous. This one with Grant makes perfect sense to me. He doesn't think he's going there. There's no reason for him to think he's not going there. He's been hijacked pretty much. And then they crash, and then not only is there a spectacular crash, they immediately get attacked by a Spinosaurus.
Yeah.
Whoa. And all these supposed to be tough nuts or survivalists or whatever they are, they get eaten straight away.
Yeah. The 2 proper mercenaries get eaten, and they're left with a guy who's the self-described desk worker of the group.
Yeah, well, he's like a recruitment agent, but they had a man down, so he went along and pretended to be a mercenary just to bank up the numbers, and now he's still there. And then there's a whole trek through the thing, and the bit that makes me laugh first is we see him running away from the Spinosaurus, and they've come across.
They get away. They come across some dead thing, and it's like, oh, okay, don't worry, it's dead. The T-Rex lifts his head up,
and it looks
no one move. And then they all immediately run
away, and Grant's left standing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was funny. And there's the whole Spinosaurus T-Rex fight. Wow.
It does seem kind of like the T-Rexes on Isla Sorna just suck. They're really bad, because I mean, in the first film Hammond talks about clocking the T-Rex at 32 miles an hour. People are able to outrun it in the second film.
Yeah.
In this, it basically just gets its neck snapped.
Yeah, by the Spinosaurus. And there's also a hint later on when they're talking about T-Rex P. Spinosaurus is basically seem to be hunting out the smell of T-Rexes. Yeah. It's kind of whoa. Well, so they actually refer to it as a super predator, don't they?
Yeah, they imply that there's just the one Spinosaurus.
And it's a super predator.
Because when the kid's talking about the T-Rex P, it's like, it keeps everything else away, but it attracts the really big one with the fin.
Yeah. One bit that I thought was really superb in this film was where they're 2 sides of a fence and they're talking through it, people, and suddenly you hear the phone. It says, "Where's the phone?"
They're using Grant is stuck with the kid who recognises the phone, which is his father's.
Yeah.
His father gave the phone to one of the guys that was eaten.
Yeah. And they just they hear the phone, they look around, and there's a Spinosaurus just standing there looking at them. Oh man, that was such a great shot. Yeah. That was really fun. And then we get into all sorts of other shenanigans. We get like
pterodactyl
we get velociraptors.
Yeah, there's the cloning facility.
Yeah, we get pterodactyls. And the velociraptors are basically, because one of the guys has picked up some of their eggs. They realise they're in a velociraptor nest, and there's eggs around. And one of the guys picks up the eggs and hides them, thinking to sell them. And the velociraptors are basically hunting them after that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I didn't like about this film was the whole scene where they have to basically give the eggs back to the velociraptors. There's no way they wouldn't have got ripped to pieces, in my opinion. Yeah. They wouldn't have just left them. I did like the clever idea if they used like a 3D printer to make a voice box, and they actually exploited that later on. That was kind of clever.
Yeah.
To confuse them.
I think it was less that they would. I think the raptors were going to rip them apart, but they heard the military.
Oh yeah, you could be right. Yeah, actually, I might be being a bit harsh about that. This was only an hour and a half, whereas the other 2 films were 2 hours plus. Man, it didn't outstay its welcome at all. I thought this was a really solid one, actually. It only did half the money of Jurassic Park 2, but I think it was probably only did that because people went to see number 2 and thought, I'm not going to see any more of those. I really enjoyed this one, actually. Any other standout bits for you?
The pterodactyl enclosure.
Yeah, that was cool.
Really cool.
Oh man, how about the emerging from the fog?
Yeah,
that was a really good shot. Joe Johnston did a really good job with this. It was well directed, and the script was nice and tight. It kind of made sense mostly. There was some nice moments of tension which didn't get overextended, like when Grant was trying to phone up Ellie, and the kid answered the phone.
The kid answered, and
he got distracted watching Barney.
Yeah. And just as the phone's about to cut out, it goes, "No, we're going!" And like the Spinosaurus is pulling this boat they're on apart.
Yeah. Very cool. Those pterodactyls were scary things as well.
Yeah.
They were kind of, wow, cold dead eyes looking at it. And of course, leading up now, we've got apparently number 4 coming out in 2015.
Yeah.
Jurassic World, I think you mentioned.
Yeah, I think that's a working title, but
okay,
don't hold me to it.
Okay. Well, it does say here, in September 2013, Universal Pictures announced that the full film Jurassic World will be released on June the 12th, 2015. So there you go.
I'm kind of hoping it goes with the end of the book, because the book ends with this, like, with reports going in from, I think it's the Brazilian government, of them finding 3-toed tracks in the Amazon.
Yeah,
sort of
you
thing.
think the dinosaurs are out now, the world ecology is going to change.
Yeah.
Looking at the ratings on this, let's see if this sounds fair to you, right? I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes ratings. Jurassic Park, 93% positive reviews, right? Lost World, 52%.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park 3, 49%.
What?
That don't sound right, does it?
No.
Okay, let's you and I rate these films. What do you think? What would you give to number 1?
I'd say 90, yeah.
I'll give it 88, so we're about the same ballpark, right? I'd say 89 between us. What about number 2?
50.
Really? That low? No, I wouldn't put it that low.
Because it was coming off such a great film, and it was just so bad.
Yeah, I have to say, I've lived through Highlander and seen Highlander 2, so I'm way more forgiving about bad sequels. After seeing what that could do. I'm going to say 60. I was reasonably entertained, but there were times I was thinking, just get on with it. But there you go. Number 3, what would you give that?
75.
Yeah, I think I'll give it 75 too. I think that's a good score. Yeah, this was definitely a bathtub effect of how good it was. You know, first one was great, big dip down, nice rise up again by the third one. Pretty solid third entry that was. Okay, I think I'm about done there. I think we're talking about Jason next time, aren't we?
Yeah.
What should we do? 1 and 2, 1, 2 and 3? What do you fancy?
1, 2 and 3, I think.
Let's do 1, 2 and 3. So we'll be doing Jason. What's it called? I think it's only called Friday the 13th Part 2, and then Friday the 13th Part 3D. Though we won't be watching it that way. Okay then, great. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
You can visit our website on www.thegoodthebadandtheodd.com. You can email us feedback on info@thegoodthebadandtheodd.com. You can visit our Facebook page on www.facebook.com/the.good.the.bad.and.the.odd. You can leave feedback there, that'd be great, and we'll be sure to pick up any feedback you do leave. Also, if you go on iTunes and find us on iTunes, and there's a link on the website. Any reviews, especially 5-star ones, will be very, very greatly appreciated so we can get on the search list.